Hello!
Hello from a distance.
And welcome to the Real Football Fans of New Jersey. Like Katie said, we are at a distance tonight. You know, it just happens sometimes. You gotta just chill. I travel for the show every week, obviously, so I wanted to stay home tonight. Now, work's been super, super busy, so I had to stay home. But I'm here with you guys tonight. Super happy to be here with Katie, and we're drinking wine. We're talking football and housewives. How great is that Wednesday?
Sounds pretty good to me. I always look forward to it. And, you know, Wednesdays are usually like, oh, it's only Wednesday. But honestly, when it's RFFNJ Wednesday and you get to drink some wine and hang out with your bestie and talk about football and housewives, it's not too shabby.
Honestly, Wednesdays are the best days, in my opinion. So thank you guys so much for joining us. It is episode 128. Holy guacamole. We are just moving and grooving along here. So we asked you guys for questions tonight. We got a bunch of questions. We're going to give you, though, 4 of them that we got that we really liked. There's a little bit of a theme to them, as you'll see. So let's go ahead and get into it. So the first question: what would be worse, getting cut from an NFL team or getting the axe from a Housewives franchise?
You know, this was a great question, I thought. But to me,
it's interesting. It's like there's a lot of moving parts to it, I feel.
Yeah, but to me, once I discovered what the correct answer was, I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So, you know, for these guys that would potentially get cut by a team, right? It kind of signals maybe this is the end of your football career. And football is a lot of these guys, they've put their whole lives into it. A lot of them don't know what the hell I'm going to do after football. Like, what do I do with my life? Whereas these women are on Housewives because they are already established, they're already wealthy, they're already living a high society life. Like, if they were to get the boot from Housewives and lose their job as a housewife, they're fine. They were already sick. You know what I mean? So I would rather be let go from a Housewives franchise.
I 100% agree. There's almost like, and maybe when we hear about sometimes these women getting let go from Housewives, where, you know, maybe we feel a little bit embarrassed for them, or they should feel embarrassed
for some of them.
Exactly. And that's what I'm thinking right now. Like, NFL players, like, it's top notch embarrassing because, like you said, that's all they have, a lot of them. Yeah, of course, some of them that go on to retire come out and have great broadcasting careers, you know, have great, you know, analyst careers, things like that.
Or spend 4 years in college and get a degree in something that they're also passionate about.
But before they come to the NFL, they're known from college football. Maybe some of these guys come out of the woods and don't even know them. These ladies on Housewives, they've got franchises up the butt. They're doing 15 million and one thing. So I 100% agree with you. And you're right. A lot of them, they're probably relieved. Like, think of Lisa Vanderpump. She was probably like, thank God I'm out of here.
Yeah. Yep.
But as opposed to like someone, you know, and they go on and they do things. I do like new and better things. Like, I feel like some NFL players get cut from a team and maybe have a new life somewhere else. And a lot of them stand out in other places, but sometimes it doesn't always work out. So
that's the other thing too. You get cut and maybe you still have an NFL career, but it means that you're going to have to go pack up your family and go move somewhere new. Yeah. So, you know, that's always a struggle as well.
Absolutely. So that was definitely a good cue for sure. So, all right, the next 3 have a bit of a theme to them. So let's see if you guys can catch on to the theme for us. So number 2, should the Giants tank for Trevor Lawrence?
This is funny because I have like a 2-part answer to this. It's no, I wouldn't tank for Trevor Lawrence. As a Giants fan, I'd rather tank for the Oregon offensive lineman Sewell. Right.
Or just a whole entire offensive line.
But my part 2 of that question is, I don't think the Giants will need to purposely tank. I think they'll find themselves getting there on their own.
You can't. I know. It sucks. It's been a rough
top 3 pick. I mean, I know we're only 2 weeks through, but yeah, it's looking like we don't necessarily have to try to tank to get like a top 3 pick.
So, my biggest argument for this, and obviously we'll get into like the injuries later, like with Saquon Barkley, but the Giants found themselves at that pick and got him. You know, they didn't necessarily tank for him, but they got one of the best picks in the draft. The Giants still haven't been great with Saquon Barkley. So Trevor Lawrence won't be the answer. Like,
no.
People need to understand that. Like, it's going to happen over time. Like, we're clearly rebuilding. It's clearly a very sore subject right now, and it's not okay. I would tank for like the entire offensive line on like a good team right now. Like, that's who I would tank for.
But you're absolutely right in saying, like, cool, we got Saquon Barkley, who's arguably one of the best running backs in the game, but you see that he can't do anything behind that offensive line. So you could put Patrick Mahomes in at quarterback. He's still not going to be able to do anything behind that offensive line. So yeah, I'd rather get not, Trevor Lawrence or a quarterback or a running back or a wide receiver. Give me the offensive lineman.
And if you're going to make arguments with like, up and coming quarterbacks, like I'd much rather go after a guy like Joe Burrow than Trevor Lawrence. Like, it just doesn't make sense. That question just doesn't really add up to me. So I just not a fan. So I don't think anyone should be tanking for Trevor. It's just unless you.
I don't think anybody should be tanking. I don't believe in tanking, by the way. So
well, no, but if you want to,
whether it's the Giants or anybody else, I don't want to see anybody tanking for anything.
Unless you sincerely need a quarterback, and like, this is the year of the quarterback. I've said that 15,000 times. Like, it's where no one's tanking for Trevor right now. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Excuse me, I had to burp a little bit. That was gross. What are your thoughts on the Devontae Freeman signing?
Necessary. So I honestly, that's really the only word I need to use. I'm as upset as I am about Saquon getting hurt and us having to get Freeman. It almost in a way makes me feel happy that like whoever was going to lose a running back first was going to go after him. And it sucks that we lost Saquon week 2, but at least Freeman was still there. We were the first ones that were like able to go get him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you kind of look at like the list of like who else, like if he wasn't available, like who else we would have been able to, and it's just not. It doesn't really add up the other things. So yeah,
necessary is like the only word I need.
Necessary, and I me, I'm overly optimistic. I'm not saying he's going to go out and rush for like a gazillion yards, but I'm just saying I think he's already in the mix with things. Like we saw pictures and video of him today at practice. Let's just kind of like develop some sense of normalcy. And I know that's hard to say, and I'm not like putting anything against Saquon Barkley, but like everything that he's developed with the team, everything that the team has developed, but like let's kind of set that normalness right now. Let's try to just move forward at this point.
Yep.
So I definitely agree with you on that for sure. And then finally, to wrap up this theme of questions, how's the fan base doing?
Not well, B.
I'll tell you how I'm doing. Not well, B. I think I actually said those exact words on Sunday when Saquon went down. Putting even that gruesome injury aside, there is just so much wrong with the New York Giants right now, and it's really hard to see. It's only game 2, but I feel like it's been 15 weeks with me just dreading and crying and
you feel like they've already put us through the ringer, right?
I know.
Have a whole season left to play. So,
and it's sad because there has been some glimmers of hopes. There has been some good things down on paper. There's been some bright kind of things. Wow, you see that on TV. Like some of our drives have been long and beautiful. It's been a long time since we've seen that. The badness just really overshadows the good, and it's really unfortunate. But to answer it wholeheartedly, it's just, right now it's frustrating. But if you look at the entire NFL as a whole and kind of what's going on with the season right now,
a lot of people are frustrated.
A lot of people are struggling. There's a lot of people struggling, a lot of names that you didn't think were going to struggle. And it's just so the fan base, listen, not doing great. I would follow the Giants fan base on Twitter. You really get to weed out who's a true fan and not. But that's my say. That's my thoughts on that.
Okay. Got it.
All righty. And before we get into our big stories of the week for football, this is obviously a huge story, and it was breaking this morning. I was listening to, I think it's called Get Up Football. I don't know if on TV. Yeah. I was listening to it while I was doing my work this morning, and it was breaking news, and it was the one you got to sit down and listen to it. So unfortunately, Chicago Bears Hall of Famer running back Gale Sayers passed away today at the age of 77 after living with dementia. You hate to hear it. His career, I think he had about 5 standout seasons, but which, maybe when you're looking at like career length for a lot of people, it doesn't seem too long, but he was the youngest player to ever get inducted into the Hall of Fame at age 34. in 1977. So this is way before our time, but a name that is so well known and just literally across the board, across all social media. Who you think he would have ever thought people would be blowing it up on social media at his death? Probably not.
I don't know, but yeah, an absolute legend for sure. His career was cut short by injuries, as it so often happens with a lot of players. But the fact that his career was cut short and yet he still made such a huge impact, he was in the league, definitely one of those, names that everybody knows, every generation, every decade, people still know that name and appreciate that name. And, the Chicago Bears fan base is definitely feeling that one, as well as the whole football community. So,
yeah. And, for those listening that maybe are not familiar with him, you might be familiar with, the very well acclaimed film Brian's Song. So that is based on him and his relationship with blanking on the last name.
I will admit I've actually never seen that movie. So
so I don't want to say critically acclaimed because I don't know if it's won an award, but I will say very well acclaimed by the general population. So if you do, ever want to very good movie. If you ever want to sit down and really understand like his story and it's about his relationship with another NFL athlete who unfortunately passed away from cancer at a very young age, watch it for sure. So some people might know if you say that, oh, it's like ding, ding, ding. That's who he is. So,
right.
But definitely just, rest in peace, thoughts and prayers with his family, with his friends, with the entire NFL community. We really lost a great one today.
Absolutely. All right, well, let's get into our big stories of the week in the world of football. And speaking of themes, we're unfortunately carrying this theme over from last week. But
we literally said we hope we don't report anything worse.
But we have to, because things have gotten way worse. We are doing an NFL Week 2 injury roundup. How could we not? I mean, those are the biggest stories that have happened in this past week.
Brian's Song is also a book. Sorry, my sister just commented. I should know that. I'm the book guru. My bad. Just know about the movie.
Yeah. All right. Well, so yes, notable week 2 injuries, and there's a lot of them. They are not all here, but these are the big ones, and they're pretty much as big as they can get when it comes to stars in the NFL. We're kicking it off with San Francisco 49ers defensive end Nick Bosa. He was my pick for Defensive Player of the Year for this year when we gave our early predictions. Caitlin, I don't know if you picked him as well, but I know you're a huge fan of him. Torn ACL, out for the season.
I'm shook it to my core. My husband is out for the season, and I'm very upset.
Yeah, was really looking forward to seeing his sophomore season. And again, I expected huge things from him.
That hurt.
San Francisco 49ers defensive tackle Solomon Thomas.
Another one.
ACL, out for the season. San Francisco 49ers running back Tevin Coleman, knee injury, out several weeks. Not noted on this list, but worth mentioning is obviously Jimmy Garoppolo got banged up in the game on Sunday. Yeah. He's a high ankle sprain. He came out during the game. Nick Mullins went in. Jimmy G has not been ruled out for the game against the Giants this weekend. So we just, if you have him in fantasy, I don't know, but just, keep your eyes open, ears open, be listening.
Day by day.
Yep. New York Giants running back, obviously rocking his shirt tonight because my thoughts are with him and a speedy recovery. Saquon Barkley, torn ACL, out for the season.
I'm getting emotional. I can feel, when you're going to like cry and you get like the tinglies in your nose? I've got the tinglies right now. I know.
New York Giants wide receiver. We obviously knew he was a bit banged up. We got report today that Sterling Shepard, toe injury, out several weeks.
What the hell is turf toe? Can I just be honest? I have no idea what that is.
I don't really know what it is either.
So many NFL players suffer from it year after year, though. Like maybe I should have Googled it, but like I literally have no idea.
Unfortunately, and this was I wish Sterling well also, but this was kind of a point that I made, and I told Caitlin, I can't remember if I said it on the show or not, but I was telling people who play fantasy, like the only Giants player I would take this year before anything started was Darius Slayton. And Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram have battled injuries.
Yeah.
They've never like played full 16 game seasons.
I do have Shepard too, though, but
to see this happen again for Sterling, and Sterling's never had massive injuries, but he's never played 16 full games.
No, you're right. Yeah.
These guys got to stay healthy. I don't know how. I mean, things are out of your reach, and sometimes you can't obviously help certain things, but I don't know. It's not good. Huge one. Obviously, if you had Saquon Barkley in fantasy football, probably with the number 2 pick, you definitely had this guy as the number 1 pick. Carolina Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey, also a high ankle sprain like Jimmy G, out several weeks. I'm happy for him that he's not out for the full season like a lot of these other guys, but that's a huge loss for the Panthers. He is the heart and soul of that team. Denver Broncos quarterback, a guy we had huge expectations for in his sophomore season. Quarterback Drew Lock sprained AC, out several weeks. I believe about 3 to 5 weeks. The Denver Broncos have signed and have brought in Blake Bortles, but I do believe Jeff Driscoll is going to be the starter.
You got to give
for them
at least like 2 weeks to warm up. You can't.
Yes, exactly. He has to learn the playbook. He has to get comfortable with the receivers. So yes, you got to stick with Driscoll, and maybe hopefully Drew comes back earlier than expected, and he can jump back in. It's kind of sad how a lot of these on the list right now are from like the same team, because these are guys like from the same team that you're losing, and it hurts. The Broncos wide receiver Courtland Sutton, another torn ACL, out for the season.
Honestly, the trend with the ACL is so weird, because a lot of people are out there saying like, is this the year of the ACL tear? So like years back, like when I was in high school, and then even like early on in my college years, like there was at least 1 year selected from each season that I played a sport where it was like everyone was tearing their ACL. It was like this, it's like in the air. There's something in the air. And it's like when one person does it, like multiple people do it.
And a lot of people who do it will often do it a second time.
Because it's also, you find too with some people, which is kind of spooky, it could be a little hereditary. If siblings do it, like one tears their left side, one tears their right side, you can have a sibling that does both of them. Like it's kind of like, it's very weird, but it's so, what I want people to understand, it's so natural and normal actually to tear it. And you could do the slightest thing. Like I keep rewatching Saquon's injury, and it's
a lot of the time it's no contact. Like it's a like no contact injury. People just fall to the ground, and like it just happens.
Well, I keep watching his video over and over, and a lot of people were like, well, it didn't seem like a bad fall, but you look and you see the slight movement, and it's such a slight movement. So reporting back though, my sister actually just wrote, she reported back on turf toe. So turf toe is a sprain of the main joint of the big toe. It happens when the toe is forcibly bent up. Oh, I don't like that. Into hyperextension, such as when pushing off into a sprint and having the toe get stuck flat on the ground. Okay, I think I'm going to throw up. A. B, that sounds so painful.
I don't know how you would run. Yeah.
So I guess that's why these guys are out. And like, I'm sorry, honestly, I sounded ignorant. I didn't know what the hell turf toe was.
I didn't really know either.
This sounds disgusting.
Yeah, that hurts. That hurts.
So yeah, honestly, wow.
Going on with our list, we have another torn ACL. I can't even fathom this.
I know.
Seattle Seahawks linebacker Bruce Irvin. And the last one we have on our list is the Washington football team guard Brandon Sheriff. MCL sprain, out for several weeks. Those are
even before we went on the show, like someone on the Las Vegas Raiders, I think it was 15 minutes ago, got put on IR. Like it's just, there's so much shit going on.
Yeah, it was hard to like sitting down knowing today that I was gonna like type out these notes and make that laundry list. I was like, all right, make sure I got everybody.
Like it's literally like a sprint. I know.
If this was any other week, right? And let's say Saquon was the only injury, Saquon injury out for the season would have been like our whole topic, right?
Right. No,
but we have all of these guys to report, and you don't want to leave any of them out.
We can have a full 2-hour episode just on injuries. But honestly, like even Sunday too, just like us, the two of us texting back and forth, sending things back and forth on like Instagram. It was like, oh, so-and-so got carted off. He's out. He's done. And it's just like, and then as Monday and Tuesday came around, that's when things really started unfolding. These guys were going for MRIs. They were going for x-rays. And that's where like the rulings came out. And it was like, shit, like we actually lost so many people.
Yeah.
on Sunday and Monday. Like, I can't deal with it. Can't deal with it.
Give us some like more positive things in this next story from week 2.
Honestly,
some positive, some negative.
So here's some positives for y'all. So we've got some week 2 thoughts here, so we'll go through them. Chicago 2-0 for the first time since 1993. So all right. Like, we'll take it. I mean, it was against.
They've had good teams since then, but I guess they've never been able to go 2, and I don't know. But that's a crazy stat.
I mean, listen, you beat the Giants. I'm a little salty about it, but listen, since 1993, that's a long ass time. So
yeah. We haven't done it in a hot minute either. So
I know, but I think we were also the last team to go 0-2 and then win the Super Bowl. So I'm hell yeah. Doing it again, 2020.
Yeah.
Without Saquon Barkley. I don't know how, but we're doing it. All right. So honestly, this is probably put the injuries aside, this was the most cray-cray thing from this past weekend, in my opinion. Dallas down 20-0 to the Atlanta Falcons after the first quarter. I was jumping for joy because obviously at this point the Giants were sucking. So I was like, you know what? If I just have to watch another game and root for the Atlanta Falcons, I will. But then they came back and recovered an onside kick. And it was one of those like weird ass onside kicks. It has a name to it. I'm blanking on it. It's called, it's called something weird. And then, so they, whatever, at the end, and then, kicker, Zerline hit a 46-yard game-winning field goal to win 40-39.
46 yards is huge in today's NFL. No kickers can make like 30-yard field goals. So that's
good. When the Giants kicker was up for 52 yards at the beginning of the game, I was like, he got this. No, of course he didn't get it. Of course he didn't. Literally, kickers killing me. You're all killing me. They're actually all doing bad again. Terrible. But that was honestly probably the wildest story to come out of week 2, in my opinion. It's like, come on, really, Falcons?
And when it rains, it pours for Giants fans. That just had to happen. Like,
seriously. And then we got, big boy Josh Allen. I'm a big fan of his, putting up the big numbers with 417 passing yards, 4 touchdowns, and a win over Miami, a 31-28 win over Miami. Listen, the Bills cannot be letting the Miami Dolphins put up 28 points against them. But listen, those are big numbers for Josh Allen. And like I said, big boy Josh Allen, he's doing big things. That kid is ginormous. He is trucking through people like
he's fun to watch. He's pretty fun to watch.
He's great to watch. I love it.
Yeah.
Why weren't the Bills good 3 years ago? And I said they were going to be good. Now they're good again. Like, really? Why do you put me to shame 3 years ago?
Oh my God. We'll hear about it till the end of time.
I was on your side. I was rooting for you. Here we are. Excuse me. So then we have Kansas City kicker Harrison Butker kicked a 58-yarder game-winning field goal in overtime to beat the Chargers 23-20.
That was a great game. That was a really great game.
Sincerely, it really was. And maybe I didn't think it was going to be such a good one because the Chargers are like, I don't know. And speaking of the Chargers, because last minute, Justin Herbert filled in for Tyrod Taylor.
Minutes. Found out minutes before the game. Yeah.
And I'll touch on this right now. We have to talk about Tyrod Taylor after this real quick. Yeah. But finished with 311 yards and 1 passing touchdown, 1 rushing touchdown, and 1 interception. All right, I'll give you the 1 interception.
He looked impressive. He looked really cool, calm, and collected, especially for a rookie that was thrown in in the last couple of minutes before the game started.
He did not look like a rookie.
No. Unfortunately, this is another situation of Tyrod Taylor that rookie's going to take your spot. But listen, I mean, you draft the kid number 6 overall, so he knew it was going to happen at some point. But wow, I didn't expect him to look that good, especially against a Kansas City Chiefs team. Yeah. That was impressive.
Kid's got a cannon. We obviously watched him in Hard Knocks. Head coach had a lot of things to tell him. A lot of, listen, you're not in college anymore. People are going to understand when you move a little bit to the left, they're going to know what you're doing. You just have to be a little bit better. I thought I said cool, calm, and collective 500 times. He really did. so humble throughout the game. Listen, that one interception, it's one interception, but it still didn't look very. It was a mistake. Obviously, he is a rookie, though.
Right.
Listen, but he did not look like one.
No, he looked great.
No, absolutely. Moving on, Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson now has 9 touchdowns through the first 2 games. He is killing it. I think my text to you is that he looked fire emoji, like multiple fire emojis.
I mean, again, and this could
be better now than he's looked in the. He looks great.
This could go off the game we played after week 1, talking about jumping to conclusions. But right now, like this is the MVP right here.
MVP season.
This is MVP status.
He is, and I love his excitement and his enthusiasm. I made that comment this morning when they were running replays from the Seattle's last game, and I just love it. He lights up a room. He lights up that field. He lights up his team. It could be maybe the simplest play, but they're gaining yards or doing stuff. He is just so excited. He's a fire quarterback, and I would love him as a leader leading my team.
Yeah, I think we've been asked a lot on this show before, like if we could have any quarterback besides, Eli Manning or Daniel Jones or whatever. Like I've always been a big fan of Russell Wilson's game. And he's kind of like, how they call him Ryan Fitzmagic. I feel like Russ has all the magic. Like he's got a lot of magic. He makes it happen. He really does.
And the glory days of those rumors of him coming to the New York Giants. It was for maybe 3 days, but it was for 3 days, but we were soaking it in. He did look good. Whoever that one designer put him in a Giants uniform, he didn't look too shabby. I'll let you know that. Yeah. And then finally, Oakland Raiders with the upset against the New Orleans Saints, 34-24. Again, another great game to watch. And I was like, you know what? When I look at the games, because me, I'm a grandmother. I go to bed at 9 o'clock. So
I caught pretty much the majority of it.
Yeah, so I pick and choose my late. Obviously, I watch all the Giants night games, but I pick and choose my other Thursday night, Sunday night, and Monday night games to watch.
I thought this game was gonna suck. I thought the Saints were gonna just destroy them.
We're reaching halftime, and I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm all in on this one. So definitely into it. Again, another one of those nail biter scenarios where it's coming down to the 3rd and 4th quarter, but really good game. But I know we mentioned it before. I do want to touch on it real quick. Yes. Tyrod Taylor, literally, we found out today that his doctor punctured his lung 3 seconds before the game.
Right.
What in the holy hell? So we haven't heard anything about this weekend. We're not sure, but apparently he's been having a rib issue.
Right.
That was known. But then when the injection was going in, he punctured his lung.
I mean, that's scary as hell.
Do we have another Washington football team medical staff on hand here? Are the Chargers the same medical staff? Because they ruined RG3's career. Are we transferring over to LA and ruining Tyrod Taylor?
It's that's when I saw that headline, that he had a punctured lung.
That was one of those jaw drop,
that sounds pretty damn serious.
He was getting a pain injection so he could play, and it was oh, just kidding,
crazy.
You're not playing anymore because I just punctured your lung.
Crazy. Glad that he's okay. And he might be playing this weekend. I think I read some headlines that the Chargers do want to stick with him as the starting quarterback, regardless of, how well we just said Justin Herbert did. Mm-hmm. So I think as long as he's good to go for Sunday, he's starting Sunday. So
wild ass story though. Yeah.
Very wild. All right, well, let's get into our week 3 picks plus 1 lock plus 1 upset. I do want to say that I was very proud of myself last week. I went 12 for 16.
I have no idea.
The Saints had 1, which they should have. Would have been 13 for 16. But I'm very proud of that. So hopefully I can do just as well in week 3, although I do feel like these games were a little tough this week.
They were very difficult.
Yeah. Not a lot of legitimate locks to choose from.
Right.
And a lot of 50-50 games. So I'm very interested to see with what you went with. Why don't you start us off?
All right. And I did copy and paste from NFL.com.
Yes.
So we're on the same page. So, all right.
Thank you.
Okay. So I am going with the Jaguars, the Steelers, the Bengals, the 49ers, the Raiders, the Vikings, the Browns, the Bills, the Falcons, the Panthers, the Colts, the Seahawks, Buccaneers, Cardinals, Saints, and Ravens. My lock is the Steelers over the Texans, and my upset is the Falcons over the Bears.
Okay. Yeah.
And I technically have another upset in there with the Bengals over the Eagles, but the season is weird. So, like, does that count as an up? I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, because both teams are 0-2 right now. So, yeah.
So does it really count if you're going off past seasons? Yes, it's an upset.
Yeah, but so far, like, I mean.
But the Falcons over the Bears.
The Bengals, even though they're 0-2, are looking on the way up, like on the rise, because they were terrible last year, right? Joe Burrow is honestly, they played 2 really close games for the first 2 weeks with a rookie quarterback. Whereas people had expectations for the Philadelphia Eagles and they're not meeting them. So I'm so happy that we did it in the same order, because then I could actually count on my fingers how many ones we had different. We picked 4 games differently.
Okay, that's not bad.
Not bad.
Right.
So I'm going with the Jaguars, the Steelers, the Eagles, the 49ers, the Patriots, the Vikings, the Browns, the Buffalo Bills, the Falcons, the Chargers, the Colts, the Seahawks, the Buccaneers, the Cardinals, the Packers, and I too, in that really, really good Monday night football game, Baltimore Ravens versus Kansas City Chiefs, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens as well. My lock is the Colts over the Jets. And my upset is surprising. This team is 0-2, and they're going up against a 2-0 team. I don't know what's going on with the sketchy Minnesota Vikings, but they're going to pull through and beat the Tennessee Titans.
I know. I mean, again, it's technically an upset. So, but I don't know what's going on with the Vikings either. I'm not sure what's going on with Kirk Cousins. I mean, we'll talk about that later too. But I don't know.
All right.
I don't know.
Good game, honestly, good games. And that Monday Night Football, I mean, it's probably going to like shatter records for how many viewers are going to be watching that game.
And I'll stay up. You know me. I'll stay
Absolutely.
up.
You can't miss that one.
No, of course not. I'll set my alarm late for Tuesday morning so I can sleep in. You know me. I need like 12 hours of sleep. I'm like a koala bear. I'm a grandmother and a koala. All right, so let's get into our big stories of the week for Housewives, but don't you worry, we're coming back with football in a little bit. So we kind of been reporting on it. We've been posting, like, kind of like questionable. Is this going to happen? Like, do we know, whatnot? But it is official. Teddi Mellencamp is getting the axe. She done. So on Monday, it was reported that Teddi was set to be fired from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills after 3 seasons, and Bravo even considered cutting her last season because they were not impressed with her performance on the show. Listen, we've spoken about it too. Like, it's bleh. So there is a quote though about that in regards to like cutting her last season. So here's the quote from the source. So she is boring and stale and does not offer anything to the franchise with her robotic and staged delivery when interacting with the other cast members. The issue is the other cast members don't particularly like her, and beyond Kyle Richards, no one is friends with her. So I think that's a great little nugget to point out there, because Kyle Richards took to Instagram and it was like, oh my God, like, I'm so thankful for Bravo for bringing us together. And I was like, reading this, I was like, when the hell were you guys that close? We didn't really seem always like that close on any season that they were both on together. But so I thought that was very weird.
But it was apparently it was just this past season though, that they're like saying that they got close, but I don't know.
That's because Lisa Vanderpump left, and Kyle, that was your best friend, even though you were mean to her. Sorry.
So you need to tag along to somebody.
I have seats. Kyle Richards is one of those people. She has to have someone be her best friend and be obsessed with her. I hate those people. So
that is like a stereotypical person. They exist out there. We need a name for that.
Let's come up with a name, because I actually know a lot of people that fit into that category. They just like need someone like there, right there. Like, I just no, like I don't like people. I don't need someone there for
maybe like a dog, but I don't need a person.
Oh yeah, no, like definitely a dog. Maybe like 15 dogs. So Teddi joined the show in 2017, and immediately she did struggle to fit in with the women. And I think a lot of us called this out, because she was super like mellow, you know, she was kind of like laid back, like into.
She doesn't necessarily bring the housewife drama.
you know, she was like, you know, super into fitness, into her job and things like that. And she wasn't this big Beverly Hills star holding a diamond. Like that wasn't really her MO.
Right.
But again, she did form a relationship with Kyle this past season, but you know, it just wasn't enough. Wasn't enough to save her.
Yeah.
And in the past week, she's been under scrutiny for her like all-in accountability program that she was always promoting. That's what I said before, like she's into fitness.
Yeah.
So a lot of people were coming out though and saying that the program like restricted them to just 500 calories a day. I gotta tell you, people, that's very difficult. And
I think like any regular like nutritionist would tell you that that's not an okay thing to do.
So, and then like with a required hour of cardio each day, and they had to sign a non-disclosure. Listen, you know me, I'm very open and honest with everything. So my lifestyle, I'm supposed to be intaking like 16 to 1800 calories a day. If I wanted to lose weight, I'd have to bump it down to like 15 or 14 for like a little bit, like a couple of weeks ago, or like maybe like once I started going back to Orange Theory after the long pandemic, I was looking at things like that. So I was like, okay, so like if I do want to lose weight, I have to cut it back down. But like, okay, this is me. Like if you guys have seen me in person, like I'm not a large individual, but like, so anywhere from like 16 to 1800 calories is a lot of calories. It's a decent amount of calories. Like the average person is 2,500.
Yeah, no.
I had a dinner tonight from Blue Apron. It was a salad. It was a kale salad. It was 410 calories.
Yeah.
Imagine just eating that in the day. I would die.
No.
Because of the wine too. That's my biggest problem. My biggest calorie intake is the wine.
God do what God do.
But that's insane. But you know who actually I think called out Teddi for her accountability program? Why am I blanking on her name? Chief Stew, Below Deck.
Kate Chastain.
Yes.
Okay.
I think she's one of the biggest people that has come out and been like, what the hell is your problem? Like not a thing, but a lot of like Bravo Lebs like have, and like I've seen like this like triggered like online. Like it's very
I understand the backlash because that is not a healthy way to go about it. And you shouldn't be promoting that to other women, men. Like it should not be promoted.
And it just makes me question too, because like on the show, she always like would flash back to like what she used to look like. And like, listen, Teddi was a big girl. Like she has definitely come a long way. And like she's got kids now. So it's like, but I'm like, are you healthy?
Yeah, no, that's not, it's not a healthy way of going about it. It's not. So,
you know, and aside from that, like, you know, what are we going to do like without her? Like, will I miss her? Things like that. You guys know I've been like very wishy-washy with Beverly Hills over the past couple of seasons. I took a hiatus this year because I'm not a big
You've been a Teddi fan.
I was in the beginning. I don't think that I didn't want to talk about this. Oh my goodness. Now that I remembered, that account that we follow on Twitter, Real Housewives polls that we're a big fan of. They said it's been confirmed Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Teddi Mellencamp is exiting the franchise. Are you sad to see her go? At the time that I screenshotted it, it was 23% yes and 77% no.
So it sounds like Bravo kind of made the correct decision. You know what I mean?
And I will admit that I voted, no, I'm not particularly sad. In the beginning, I did like her. She was that different type of Beverly Hills housewife. She was more of like that Jersey, low key, like active, like chill, like, you know, like I'll wear my sweatpants. Like it's not a big deal. Like, but then I think the girls really got to her and like she kind of just didn't really pan out. So, and near the end, she just kind of pissed me off. So
fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into another potential cast shakeup in our second big story of the world of Housewives. We've definitely heard so many rumors about what's going to happen with the New York cast, and kind of a confirmation, kind of a rumor.
Yeah.
We have a potential new cast member.
I heard it on Z100, so it might be real.
I think it is real. I think we just don't know whether or not this person will be a full-time cast member. Right. I think that's the unconfirmed part. Right. So this week, a source close to production said that motivational speaker Bershan, and I think I'm saying her name right, Bershan Shaw, could make history as the first Black cast member of Roni. They did, Leah and a lot of other Luann said it as well. Like, let's shake things. Like, if you're going to shake things up, like, we should really show all women in New York. We should definitely, have a Black cast member. And so far she has filmed, this is confirmed, that she has filmed with some of the cast, but just nothing is official yet. Shaw describes herself as a speaker and a TV personality. She is also a stage 4 breast cancer survivor, which is crazy. And I think as I read further about her story, I think she was diagnosed like 2 weeks before her wedding.
Oh my goodness.
She's still currently married. I heard she's definitely going to have an interesting story. And we're not sure if she's going to be a friend or a full-time housewife, but she will definitely be on the show in some capacity. Also want to just talk about the RHONY cast in general, because I'm sure a lot of you guys, this is the first time we're saying it on the show, but I'm sure a lot of you guys saw that there was contract issues between Leah and Bravo for coming back for her second season of RHONY. I guess she felt like she had a strong rookie season and the feedback was really good. We certainly loved her, and it seemed like everybody else did as well. And I think Bravo came back negotiating her contract and her numbers were still like really low. And I think she wanted to get more money, which I feel like I'm sure she deserved. I don't know what the figure was. But she has confirmed now that she is coming back for another season. Thank God, because 2020,
we need her. We need her.
We don't need negative news. If we lost Leah, we lost Dorinda, that one hurt, and Leah has been a positive spark for RHONY. So she is coming back, and then this is another positive note. Elise is not coming back, so she wasn't even in. Part 3 of the reunion is airing tomorrow, but it appears that she was not invited to this reunion at all. They haven't even spoken. They haven't even spoken her name. She hasn't come up. She was just so pointless. She was like what? She was like Barbara. She was like Barbara when Barbara came on as a friend.
No, but I liked Barbara better than Elise, and I'm going to say that here. Yeah. That is my hot take. Barbara brought more to the table than Elise did. Elise sucked. She had too many cameos on the side. I can't.
I just get annoyed with these friends that essentially they're on every single episode. So it's
can
we not have to deal with them?
You're a friend. I wanted to see you every episode. You should be a full-time cast member, but I do not want you to be a full-time cast member.
Bravo, if somebody's a friend, it means that you want to give people a sampling of that person and do we like them or not. I don't need the full, have you in every episode. I could have seen Elise a couple times and been like, no, it's not going to work. Let's move on from her.
How dare you have Bethany Frankel step back and be technically a friend for a season and then have people wasn't she?
That was Luann.
Oh, never mind. I thought, okay, then maybe it was Lou. Okay, so
Luann was a friend once.
Okay, then there you go. How dare you have Luann be? I knew it was one of the big ones, but how dare you have Luann be a friend and then have someone like Elise be a friend?
No, that's not the same level.
No, not at all.
All right.
Honestly, I'm happy Leah has come to, an agreement.
Oh, yeah, thank God.
But listen, I'm all for this brand new lady. Let's get it going. I dig it.
What I wanted to know when I was reading about her too, which has not come to air yet, is I want to know if she has any kind of connection to any of the current ladies. Is she a friend of somebody or is this someone they just randomly picked? I'm curious about.
As I was seeing a bunch of stuff on social media, and I don't know if it was, I don't think it was you and Hunter when I heard it. I think I saw it somewhere. I think it might be Luann, that they maybe know of each other. It might not be.
Also, fun fact for people who haven't watched part 2 of the RHONY reunion, again, part 3 is tomorrow. Caitlin needs to catch up. But they actually spoke about Leah coming onto the show and being selected for RHONY. And interesting enough, we all thought she came to the show because she was friends with Tinsley. She only became friends with Tinsley once she was cast on the show and the two of them connected because they knew she was going to be on it. And then they formed a friendship before filming. But interestingly enough, apparently Bethany, when she left, had given Bravo a list of 30 different women's names. Oh. Bethany had never even met Leah. So she must have just heard Leah's this boss ass bitch in New York City. She'd be so fun. maybe heard from another friend, and Bethany gave Bravo, like, because Bethany, I didn't know this either, and they brought this up in part 2. Bethany decided that she was quitting Roni a day before they were supposed to start filming this past season. So maybe she felt bad and was like, here's a list of women who could replace me. And Leah was on that list. Leah was also on a list of Bravo producers, word of mouth maybe, but she didn't know anybody.
Great
and just
selection.
Friends with Tinsley because she knew she was going to be on the show, and they formed a friendship that way.
That's a really, really interesting tidbit right there.
Yeah.
And honestly, I love the comment of, list of boss ass bitches. Listen, Bershon, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You sound like a boss ass bitch. We want you on this franchise. Like, come. Like, let's go.
Bring Leah vibes and I will love you. So
let's get it going, lady.
Yeah.
All righty. So we are getting into our game. And tonight we are playing the tale of QBs during week 3. So for the week 3 games, we have insane quarterback matchups. Like insane. Yeah. I told you, the year of the QB. Yeah. So we're going to talk about which QB during each matchup is going to have the better game.
Yes. So not the better season, not who's had the better career, just specifically in that game.
So we are just going to go game by game.
Yep. Let's do it.
So let's kick it off with Miami versus Jacksonville. So we have Ryan Fitzpatrick versus Gardner Minshew. So it's the beard versus the mustache. That has been the ongoing trend over the past couple of days on social media. So it's tomorrow night. So who do you got?
I do always kind of laugh too, by the way, that the Thursday night matchups always kind of suck. And this is like a prime example. Like it's the Dolphins versus the Jaguars. Like, why? Really who decided this?
I know.
But I am going, I believe in Minshew mania. I was a believer last year, and I'm going with Gardner. Right now, he is the 4th best completion percentage amongst quarterbacks. He's completing 75% of his throws, which is really, really, really damn good. It's shocking to think that there's 3 quarterbacks that are even higher than that, because 75% is solid. I'm going with Gardner. I'm going with the mustache.
I'm going with the mustache too. Minshew mania. And maybe it's because you're right. I don't think, Ryan Fitzpatrick has lived up to the magic yet within 2 games.
Not yet.
Gardner's taking last season into this season. He's already showed us clearly what you just said, like 75%. That ain't no joke. He's doing good things. I'm not 100% sold on Jacksonville, but this game in particular, I'm going with the mustache. So
when Tua is like really, really feeling good, he's coming in for Miami. So
listen, I hope so. I love my Tua.
we will see Tua this year, no doubt in my mind.
All right, so let's move into the second game. The second matchup, we have the Houston Texans, Deshaun Watson versus Pittsburgh's Ben Roethlisberger. Who you got?
Again, like I said, not career-wise, not whatever, like just currently in this matchup, this is one of the ones where I'm going with Ben Roethlisberger just because of the defense.
I'm literally on the same page as you. Yes. 100%. Deshaun Watson is a very talented quarterback. While they're off to an 0-2 shocking start, they will do better things probably this season, but I don't like Deshaun Watson up against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense.
Deshaun Watson, since he entered the league, and I don't know what the exact stat is, but I would be willing to put my money on that since he's entered the league, he's been the most sacked quarterback in the NFL. So now you're going up against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. They're going to get several sacks, in my opinion.
Yes, they did show that stat last week, and I think Daniel Jones is right behind him. So I think there was only 1 or 2 people.
He's got one full season under his belt. Okay,
I think it was
seasons now with Deshaun, and he's the most sacked quarterback, and that's not on him. He's had a rough offensive line as well.
Listen, we feel you, Deshaun. We feel you.
Yeah,
we're going to go with Big Ben on this one. Yeah. All right, moving into our third matchup, Cincinnati Bengals, Joe Burrow versus Philadelphia Eagles, Carson Wentz.
Kind of the same talk about how the Bengals have been looking better and the Eagles have been looking worse and not living up to expectations. I feel like that could also work for these quarterbacks here. I'm going Joe Burrow.
I'm going Joe Burrow, and it's because Carson Wentz does not look good. And please, for the love of all things holy, like I don't want my boyfriend and his family to come hunt me down in the middle of the night. But it's just, listen, he does not look good. He's making rookie mistakes 2 games in. And just that's it. He doesn't look good. I was even hearing analysts this morning saying Jalen's going in a couple games. And I was like, well, you know what? Like, they're already trying to figure out how to move Jalen in the very similar how the Saints are working that double quarterback situation. They're already trying to do that with Jalen. And Jalen's really good. They did that with him with Alabama with Tua. He's really good.
Might as well.
So they're already giving him touches. If Carson keeps going down, they're going to give him more touches and more touches at the starting quarterback position. So I'm just more impressed with Joe Burrow at this point. So going in on that. All right, excuse me. I almost exited out. Our 4th matchup, we have San Francisco 49ers, Jimmy Garoppolo. Listen, he is injured with an ankle injury. He's injured with an ankle injury. He has an ankle injury, but he hasn't been ruled out yet. Going up against the New York Giants, Daniel Jones.
I'm literally giving this to Daniel Jones because of the injury aspect.
Well, I am as well. But even if you bring Jimmy G back, there are a lot is going on with the 49ers right now.
Right. He doesn't have a lot of his weapons. Neither does Daniel Jones. These are 2 quarterbacks that are going to have to pull some magic out of their hats. Right. With what they're working with. And I'm just giving, again, the slight edge to 100% healthy Daniel Jones versus a banged up Jimmy G.
Absolutely. I'm doing the same exact thing.
So we are completely agreeing so far.
All right. Let's see how we get. Moving into our next one. And it's funny enough, it is the Las Vegas Raiders, but again, on my list, it says the
my God. Yeah, sorry. I'll do that till the end of time.
I know. I actually I had to Google something before I typed in the Oakland Raiders. So don't worry. Google will correct you. Versus the New England Patriots, Cam Newton. Who you got?
This is probably where our streak ends of agreeing with one another because I know you hate this guy, but I went with Cam Newton.
So did I.
Oh my God, you shocked me.
I know.
Girl.
Funny enough, I am shocked with both of these quarterbacks now.
Me too.
I laughed out loud when Derek Carr came on the field for the game the other night, and I was like, holy shit, I totally forgot about Derek Carr. Like, literally laughed to myself. But it's sad. Like, it makes me sad.
People have talked about do the Raiders need to move on from him? So
I kind of like laughed, literally laughed to myself a little bit. I was like, wow, how'd you forget about him, Caitlin? But like, it was kind of that moment, like in the moment. Yeah. And then Cam, but he's surprising me because he's doing well. The team is doing well, but it's only 2 games in. But then you have a guy like Cam Newton who like we utterly despise, but he's doing insanely huge things for the New England Patriots right now. I would never say Tom Brady who, but he filled the gap within 2 games. So we've got a long season to go, but right now that gap is filled. So
yeah.
But so I'm more impressed with him right now. So again, that's why I'm going with him. All right, next up, Tennessee Titans, Ryan Tannehill versus Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins.
I went with Ryan Tannehill. I'm a huge believer and supporter in Kirk Cousins.
I love Kirk Cousins.
Ryan Tannehill is quietly having like playing really well so far. He's got 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He's quietly playing some really nice football for the Titans. And I don't know, again, what's going on with Kirk Cousins and the Vikings, but I'm going to stick with the trend here of who's hot right now, and I'm going Ryan Tannehill.
And I love your comment of Ryan Tannehill quietly having a good season because I want to counter that with Kirk Cousins quietly having a really bad season. Yeah. It's not even as bad. He's just not doing anything.
Right.
There's just nothing there. There's nothing to show. So again, I'm going with Ryan Tannehill as well.
I'm waiting for us to not agree.
I don't know. All right, let's go with the Washington football teams. Dwayne Haskins versus the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield.
Bad versus bad. Who do you go with?
I don't know. I picked versus. That's who I picked. I picked the versus.
I have more faith in Baker Mayfield.
I picked Baker Mayfield as well, and I don't really have a argument for it. I just picked him.
We don't need to go into a discussion about these 2. Baker Mayfield. We can move on.
Let's go with the Los Angeles Rams, Jared Goff versus the Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen.
I think Jared Goff is another player who's also quietly been playing well that maybe is not getting a ton of recognition. But you can't not pick the guy who's really showing up with Josh Allen.
Polishing people. I picked Josh Allen as well.
Allen, shockingly, I looked it up today. He's currently leading the league in passing yards. He has 6 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Kid's playing real nice. Going Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
As am I. But listen, Jared Goff can't, just.
He hasn't been playing bad.
It's not that he hasn't been playing bad.
Spectacular. He's very average.
But that's what I'm trying to make the point of a couple seasons ago is when he was the big guy, and then he fell off, and now he's casually doing well, but no one's paying attention because he did fall off.
But that's where he's kind of like a Ryan Tannehill though. Ryan Tannehill's not super flashy, so he could quietly put up nice stats, but people don't really realize it or recognize it. So very similar situation, I think.
So let's go with Chicago's Mitchell Trubisky, who's shadily doing well as well, versus Atlanta's Matt Ryan.
Also, didn't Chicago open the season against the Lions and then play the Giants in week 2? I'm not sold on the Chicago Bears and Mitchell Trubisky.
Well, I'm not sold on him, but I'm still not going to say.
I'm not necessarily even going to give him credit though through those first 2 games. I'm going, and honestly, the Atlanta Falcons week 3 matchup. That's another technically easier team in the NFL, but I'm going Matt Ryan.
I'm going Matt Ryan as well because it's a vet quarterback. I have the Falcons winning. Obviously, that's technically an upset, but it is what it is. So we're still. I think we might disagree soon. So I'm looking at the rest of these teams. So I think we're disagreeing soon. So all right, let's go with the Carolina Panthers. Teddy Bridgewater versus the Chargers. Tyrod Taylor. Again, we know he was hurt last week, but he has not been ruled out yet. So that is why he is on this list.
Tyrod banged up. Teddy going to be missing Christian McCaffrey for sure. This is another way I'm going to give a slight edge to the non-injured guy. I wouldn't Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, me too, because I love him.
I know you do. So don't worry. We're still agreeing at this point. Let's keep it rolling.
I did go with Teddy Bridgewater while Christian McCaffrey is out. And I think there's arguments that he hasn't really been doing too much this season so far, but I still am a huge Teddy Bridgewater fan. We know what he's capable of. And I do question if Tyrod Taylor just changed to Justin Herbert. I think my answer would change too, which makes me sad.
I agree. Yeah. I don't think by any means Teddy Bridgewater is playing bad. I just don't think he's doing anything notable.
Yeah.
That's where we're at right now.
Agreed. All right. So let's go with the New York Jets, Sam Darnold versus the Indianapolis Colts, Phillip Rivers.
I have no notes on this one. Phillip Rivers, we can move on.
We're disagreeing here. I'm going with Sam Darnold.
What? No,
I know.
Wait, why? Please explain why.
There's really no analytical reason why.
This is my lock game.
I know, which is I know, but Phillip Rivers hasn't done really anything this season either. He's one of those when we're talking about Kirk Cousins is kind of shadily not really done anything. Phillip Rivers really hasn't either. So
I agree too, but I'd rather throw my money on the way safer pick here.
Yeah. I don't know. I kind of I don't know. I knew this is the one I knew we were going to disagree on.
You know what? Next week's show, we're going to have to look at these QB comparison in this specific matchup.
As bad as the Jets are, the Jets aren't going to go 0-16 as bad as they are. I don't think they're going to go 0-16. Sam Darnold has to take that team to a win at some point. And I don't know if it's going to be this weekend because I picked the Colts as well. I just think QB wise, he may have a potential better game. So
okay, all right.
It's a stretch, but I picked it. So
all right.
Let's go with the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott versus the Seattle Seahawks, Russell Wilson. This one's a no combo in my opinion.
Yes, it's a no combo because Russell Wilson's playing on a whole nother level than anybody else, right? But I do want to say that I do think these quarterbacks are both really talented, and I think that this is a fun game to watch because the quarterback play is good on both ends. But yeah, I went with Russell because he's playing on another level from everybody else.
Yeah. Sorry, I was pouring more wine. You got to give me a break.
You're good.
Ooh, I poured an accidental holiday pour. Those are my favorite.
Whoopsie.
Accidental.
Happy accident.
What?
Happy accident.
Happy accident. Let's go with Tampa Bay's Tom Brady and the Denver Broncos, Jeff Driscoll. So it's not.
If this was another matchup, Tom Brady hasn't really been doing anything notable either. He really hasn't, but I'm going Tom Brady.
Me too, as I sip my holiday pour.
That was a big holiday pour.
It was, I know. It was an accidental. But it was one of those where like the bottle was like on its way down. So it's like, you're not going to leave this much in the bottle.
No, you just got to go for it.
He's got to go for it. All right, let's move on to the Lions, Matthew Stafford versus the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler Murray.
So I do have a note about this one.
Oh, I'd love to hear it.
Out of all 16 games and all 16 quarterback matchups, these were the two quarterbacks that were the most polar opposite from each other.
Okay.
Like they are two completely different style quarterbacks. Completely.
Yeah.
But I am going with just who has the better weapons, who has the better receivers, Kyler Murray.
Yeah, me too. And it killed me to pick him. Really killed me, like dagger to the heart.
I mean, Detroit really doesn't have a lot of people.
No. And you know me, Matthew Stafford, I just don't have any faith in him. So
I have a little bit more faith in him, but you know, the weapons around them, it's you can't compare. So
yeah. All right, we are down to our final two matchups.
They're so good.
We have the Green Bay Packers, Aaron Rodgers versus New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees.
Yes, we have a great Sunday night football and Monday night football game.
God,
you gotta.
No, I don't think I can do Sunday. I go to Orange Theory on Monday.
Although I don't know necessarily how close this Green Bay New Orleans Saints game is going to be compared to how these two teams are playing. So I'm going Aaron Rodgers because Drew Brees just ain't looking like Drew Brees to me.
Me too.
And he doesn't have Michael Thomas.
I know.
Obviously, that's a huge factor. And Aaron Rodgers has really just been playing really well.
I'm going with Aaron Rodgers as well. I know you brought up Michael Thomas, and listen, Drew Brees is not who he is today because of Michael Thomas. I would never make that statement, but it is one of his better distributions. It's one of his easiest distributions. And your main guy, they have a great, relationship. They have great chemistry, clearly.
Yeah.
He's not there. It's been 2 games, or technically 1 game without him, kind of maybe 1.5 games. 1.5 games really without him.
And it shows.
And it's showing, but that's okay. You're going to get to a point where you're going to fill in that gap and you're going to be okay because the New Orleans Saints is freaking stacked. It's not just a Michael Thomas organization. It's not. You're going to be okay and he'll come back eventually, but it's just going to take that time. I don't know if week 3, everything's going to be solved for. It's not going to be. So in regards to the quarterback position, I agree. Aaron Rodgers will do better this weekend.
Yeah.
And then moving on to our Monday night, our final matchup of the week, which is a wild-ass one. We are going with the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, versus the Baltimore Ravens, Lamar Jackson.
Listen, girl, this is our 16th game, and we've only disagreed on 1, which, by the way, I feel like we should go 16 for 16 because I still can't believe you said Sam Darnold.
Listen, I was making a very,
I liked it. I mean, you rolled the dice on one of these. You know what I mean? I can appreciate it. But I'm just we could have gone 16 for 16.
All right, well, we might. Who knows?
Listen, for this last one, I don't know if we are. Because as much as I have said and stated it before with my picks that I believe Baltimore will win this game, I'm still going with Patrick Mahomes, though, over Lamar Jackson.
And I picked Lamar Jackson.
There you go. All right. So now I don't have to care about the Sam Darnold one because we weren't going to go 16 for 16.
Because I think we have seen recently that I'm trying to think of how to explain this. Patrick Mahomes is very good on his own, I feel. Okay. And I think that we, over the past 2 games, maybe the Chiefs haven't, in some areas, haven't been they're diabolical, of course. Maybe
they definitely surprised me in this Chargers game this past week. That kind of threw me off a little.
Patrick Mahomes looks great. The Ravens, on the other hand, when Lamar Jackson's on fire, the entire team is on fire. Everyone's on fire. And I just think that, and I believe they will win on Monday night.
Right.
Everything's got to be on point, and Lamar Jackson will be on point, and he'll just be even more on point than Patrick Mahomes, in my opinion. So
all right.
That's just how I see those two teams operating. So that's why I made that ultimate decision there. So
yeah. All right. Fair enough. Point in our night where that was our game. Yes, by the way, but
that was a good one.
That was a very good one. I think maybe we need to do this in the future. Maybe running backs, matchup, wide receivers, something. But I really liked it.
Well, this week was unique. These QB matchups this week are phenomenal. Like,
to be honest, I thought of the format for this game first, and then wrote down the matchup second.
And you were like, "Holy shit!
This was a good time to do this."
Yeah.
So yeah, I can't wait for these games. We have so many good ones. But point in our night where we get it off our chest: positive, negative, housewives, football, life, wine, holiday pours. What do you have for us?
Well, clearly mine is the holiday pour that I just poured. Like, hell yeah. I'm going to have a great evening after this show. So get a girl. It needs some ice, to be honest. So once we're done, I'm going to put some ice in it, and then probably, I don't know, I'm going to like do the dishes. It's a wild night for me.
Oh my God.
Wild night. No, I mean, honestly, like it's my basic get it off my chest that it's, fall is here. It's literally the second day of fall officially, but it's felt like fall for the past 3 weeks. Football's back. I just honestly, like, Alabama finally plays on Saturday. So I'm going to have Saturday, Sunday football moving forward. Like,
she froze on me. All right. Well, I'll get into my get it off my chest. It's pretty quick. It kind of came to mind when I was watching part 1 and part 2 of Roni. Every time I watch a season of any show that I'm a fan of, that I know a reunion is coming, I always say to myself, "Ooh, I hope the host like calls them out for this and calls them out for that." Specific people who have really, piss poor behavior. And is Caitlin coming back? She's back, right?
I would restart your get it off your chest because I don't know if our audience heard it. So.
Oh, mine. Okay. Yeah. Well, you finish yours.
So mine was just basically that, fall is here. Like, I'm super excited. Football is back twice a week now because Alabama plays on Saturday. So I'm like super pumped. So I'm going to Saturday, Sunday football.
And what did we do this past Sunday?
We tailgated at my parents' house. We're going to be with you guys this weekend at your house for the Niners versus the Giants tailgating. So while we're not at the stadium, we're still making the best of it. And we've been driveway tailgating for years. So listen, we've been
extra this season, obviously not being able to go to MetLife and attend the games.
Yeah, but even just like the weather, it's crisp. My windows are open. Coffee in the morning, a nice pumpkin coffee, everything pumpkin. Like, I went apple picking. I love fall. Fall is my favorite season. Everything is all loaded into one, and it's just starting to really feel, I don't want to say it's starting to feel normal because it's not, because the world is still not normal.
But we've been able to do more things. Right. We have been, we've been allowed to do additional things. Now we can do indoor dining to a capacity. Yeah. I know a thing our friends always love to do every fall. We always love to go axe throwing at an indoor place.
Oh, we should do that.
We have that open right now.
Let's do it.
Something we can still do. Apple picking, that's an outdoor activity. There's things that we can do and still enjoy some of our fall activities right now, which is great.
I just love it. Love the fall. So yes, so I know you started your get it off your chest, but restart it for the fans.
No problem. So I'm going to keep mine quick, but every time that I watch a TV show, a reality TV show that I know is going to have a reunion, I always find myself watching the season and being like, I hope who's ever hosting the reunion calls this person out for this, calls this person out for that. Really makes people feel shitty for their shitty behavior, kind of be a voice for the people, right? A voice for the fans. So I would say that Andy Cohen, who obviously hosts all of the Housewives reunions, does pretty much keep it neutral. He is like the moderator. He asks the questions. He tells all the girls to shut up when they're all screaming at each other. I have found, watching 2 parts so far of Roni, that this is one of the most vocal reunions I've seen from Andy. Yeah. And as much as I hate that it's coming at Dorinda because is my favorite housewife of all time,
right?
It is deserved. And I'm happy that and I'm happy because during the season of Roni, when the women were trying to politely tell Dorinda, like, you were wrong for this,
Right.
and she wasn't listening to them, it kind of feels good to have an outsider like Andy Cohen be like, Dorinda, you were really mean. Dorinda,
Like,
you were
pump
wrong
it.
for this.
Yeah.
Like, and he really, especially in part 2, and Caitlin, you'll see this, like, he really was like, they pulled out the receipts on her to show that she was in the wrong. He blatantly said, Dorinda, what you said was really mean. Don't you think you were wrong for this? Don't you think you were wrong for that? Tries to get her to answer about her drinking and why people think it might be a little much. And I felt like he was finally like being the voice for the people. So I was really happy about
people's
that.
voice.
And honestly, can't wait for part 3. And I can't wait. We're going to talk about it next week because it was a crazy season. It's been a crazy, crazy reunion. And honestly, again, it's our first, like, during COVID, like, our first in-person housewife reunion.
Yeah.
So that makes it like extra special, extra enjoyable, and extra juicy. So
yeah, while the Zoom ones were fun with everyone interrupting each other and screaming and getting put on mute,
right?
Yeah, it was finally great to be, but that's essentially what Andy's been doing, been muting people. So we did see him in the first, episode screaming at them to shut up. So happy to hear that for sure. But I am looking forward. I'll catch up on episode 2 and I'll watch, tomorrow night, watch 3. And like Katie said, stay tuned next week. Our episode, we'll recap the entire season and the reunion. So it was a lot happened. So
it went really fast.
It did.
There's so much to cover.
I'm pretty sad it's over, but yeah. So like we just said, so we're wrapping things up here too tonight. So thank you guys so much for joining us for this episode. But Real Houses of New York reunion part 3, which is the final part, is tomorrow at 9 p.m. Real Houses of Potomac is on Sunday at 9 p.m. NFL Week 3, Thursday Night Football, you have Miami at Jacksonville. Sunday Night Football, you have the Packers versus the New Orleans Saints. And Monday Night Football, you've got that big matchup, the Kansas City Chiefs and the Baltimore Ravens. And don't forget that college football has been moving and grooving so far, but most importantly, SEC games start this weekend. Roll Tide, baby.
That's huge. And I know college football fans are super excited, and I'm glad to see that colleges are starting to have seasons, and that's really great. So
I am beyond thrilled. So let's go, Alabama. Super pumped. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight.
I got a refill. You enjoy that holiday pour.
Clearly going to. So thank you so much. We will check you soon. See ya.
Bye.